Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Vintage Cube draft. We have no power, but a decent pack to start. There's three good lands: Library of Alexandria, Caracas, and Windswept Heath. I think Library is the best of the three. There's also Preordain, Is It Signet, Ugin. A lot of cards that are reasonable to first pick here. I think I'm going to narrow it down to Library or Preordain. They're both very, very good. Library is like it's really really good when it's good, but against fast decks it can be a bit slow. I think I like taking the Preordain here. Yeah, very very close pick, but I think I'm gonna take a Preordain. This card is very good. It just goes into basically any deck and is just cheap and consistent, good at all stages of the game. Just a great card. Now I get it to Fairy. Okay, if we take in the library, I think I would take Smuggler's Copter here. There's also the Layla Beaumont Courier in the, combo in this package. But Teferi is just amazing. Very, very good. I love Blue Eye Control. Maybe we can get Oust on the wheel. Yeah, let's take that. So you already are incentivized to pick up this sort of card, but Teferi makes you especially want 1 and 2 mana interactive instants. It's great if you can plus Teferi on tap 2 lands and then do something with that mana to help protect him. Okay, a bunch of blue cards in the pack, but none that are phenomenal. Then a couple white cards that are decent, but not really the direction we're going. I think I like taking the Dig Through Time here. Yeah, let's go with that. This card is good. You need to have a lot of cheap instants and sorceries. So it's similar to Fairy. A lot of our cards are pulling us in a similar direction. So hopefully we can do that. I mean, these are both like Preordain is good to Dig Through Time for filling the graveyard, but we will need to get a couple cheap counter spells to really maximize this card. The most broken thing ever is plus Teferi. Like play Teferi plus them, untap 2 lands, play Dig Through Time. So you just like got 3 new cards into your hand and have a Planeswalker on the battlefield. That's a really, really powerful sequence. Well, there's a Treasure Cruise. Boros Signet, Steam Vents. I think we take the Steam Vents here. Yeah, let's do that. We don't have any red cards at the moment, but there's a couple red cards we'd be interested in playing in this pack. I don't really think we need another Delve spell. Phantasmal Image is decent, but I think I'd rather take the Steam Vents and then open ourselves up to Jeskai. In particular, Teferi is pretty good in Jeskai because he's very good with instant speed burn spells. So we'll take this. Now we get, a couple interesting options. Helix, Wonder Fumarole, and a Braid. I'm leaning towards taking the Fumarole here and then trying to wheel one of these 2 burn spells. They're both amazing. I would love to have either one of these, but having good mana is just so important. But maybe a Braid is good enough that we do take it. I would definitely take a Steam Vent, or yeah, like a Steam Vent type card over either one of these. But this land is not as good. It is still strong. Both of these are just phenomenal for us. But I think there's a good chance the Helix comes around. Yeah, I'm gonna take this and really hope the Helix wheels. If neither of these come around, I will slightly regret this pick, but it's still going to be very good to have good mana. Now that we just took the land, we can take a good spell now. Venture is solid, but I think I would slightly rather have the Unholy Heat here. Wall of Omens is also reasonable, but this is a really good piece of interaction, and we just passed some burn. Now we can take Elspeth. Pretty great pickup. Monastery Mentor is fine, but I think I'd rather have the Elspeth here. And, probably Thieving Skydiver. This card is good. It's not as good as Dack Fayden, which we are hoping to find, but this card can steal Signets, it can steal Moxen, it can sometimes steal Blightsteel Colossus if you're super flooded. Okay, I mean, Jeskai's looking open. That's a good sign. I think we want to take Caracas here. That makes me wish he'd taken Venture over Unholy Heat, but I still think we want to take it. All 3 of these would be... Actually, right now, Trinket Mage isn't good, but yeah, I think we just want to take the Caracas here. Very good interaction. Nice. Oust did come around. This could be a good Seagate Stormcaller deck, but I'm not going to take a very good, cheap interactive spell over that. I'm not going to take this over a very good, cheap interactive spell. Okay, now we get Needle Spires. Pretty good. The mana is developing nicely here. Cathar Commando is potentially playable. Just as like a 3 mana disenchant that can also attack and block, but I'm not going to take it over some good fixing. I think we take the Pyroclasm here. Yeah, Treasure Cruise is good, and we have 3 1-mana instants and sorceries. But we already have the Dig, and Pyroclasm is very good in a lot of matchups. It's probably going to start in the board, but it'll be one of our best cards in 25% of matchups. Now we get the Helix. Very happy that came around. Abrade probably would be slightly better, but Helix is very good as well. And then given that we already have the Thieving Skydiver, we do have ways to interact with artifacts. This deck looks really sweet. We have good mana, we have good cheap interaction, we have good top end, some card draw. We don't have any counter magic, so that's something we're looking for in the next pack. Ooh, Wall of Omens. That's a card we'll very likely play. We'll especially play the wall if we get more Planeswalkers. This is very good at blocking, and blocking is really important when you have a lot of Planeswalkers that have, 3, especially if, cheap Planeswalkers. If you can go Wall of Omens into a 3-mana Planeswalker, Dak Vaden, Teferi, Narset, something like that, that's really good. Ooh. Worn Power Stone is a card we could end up playing, actually. It's very rare you see this card going 15th pick. Okay, I think we take Force of Will here. We're a little bit light on blue cards, but we really do want Counter Magic, and it's just a great card. There's also Riftwind Cloudskate and Vendilion Click. I don't think we're a Tolarian Academy deck. Yeah, I'll just take the Force. I would like to get some blue cards for sure. Alright, getting past a Mox is never a bad thing. We will certainly be taking that. Plateau would be good. We don't have that sort of fetchable land yet. I think we might have even passed a Sacred Foundry. Not sure on that. There's also Memory Deluge, Lightning Strike, Mystical Tutor. A lot of reasonable options here, but certainly taking the Mox. And then maybe we could wheel... It's possible Plateau comes around. It's possible Lightning Strike does. But we're taking the Mox either way, and we'll see what we get on the wheel. Ooh. Ashiok is excellent, but it's a little bit tough on the mana. This pack is pretty bad for us. A lot of black cards. Mother of Runes is not really the direction we're going here. I think we'll speculate on the Ashiok. High upside if the mana gets there. And then if it doesn't, we don't miss out on much because that pack was pretty weak. Now we can take a Control Magic and try and wheel Showdown of the Scalds. That's pretty good. Faith Fetters is also reasonable, but I think Control Magic is better. We don't have any of this sort of effect yet, and it's a blue card for Force of Will. Having Force of Will means anytime there's a tie, status as a blue card is a good tiebreaker. Still not going to take the Hullbreaker Horror, though. I think Burst Lightning is just better. More cheap interaction. Now we have a lot of cheap burn spells, which I really like in this sort of deck, especially if we get a little bit more card draw. Young Pyromancer would potentially be playable as well, but we're still going to take the Burst Lightning first. Now we get, ooh, interesting pick. There's a Blood Crypt if we want to try and splash the Ashiok. There's also Grim Lavamancer and Wrath of God, and I think we just want to take the Wrath. Yeah, let's do that. We only have 2 creatures. It's super important to have access to the first board sweeper in these sorts of control decks. Ooh. Consecrated Sphinx versus Sacred Foundry. Tough pick. I think we got to go with the Foundry here. Consecrated Sphinx is good, but it is quite expensive. And, yeah, I just think, we got good fixing to start, but we haven't gotten much fixing in this pack, so I think we should solidify that a bit more. It's looking unlikely we'll be able to play the Ashiok, but it is possible. All right, now we can get a Seachrome Coast. That's pretty good. Inspiring Vantage is good too, but blue is just better than red, so I'll take the blue spell. I guess we do have more red early plays, but I still think it's better to take the Seachrome Coast. This deck is definitely looking good. Still let him counter magic. I also wouldn't mind a bit more card draw. Like Thirst for Discovery type stuff. Nice. We get a red-white dual land on the wheel. We would potentially play Stonecoil Serpent. And also there's a lot of Golgari cards, which isn't great when we're playing Jeskai. But let's take the Sundown Pass. Happily. That's definitely a very good pickup in the stage in the pack. No fetch lands, which is a little unfortunate because we do have both Sacred Foundry and Steam Vents. Ah, bummer. There's a Lightning Strike we were hoping to wheel. Instead we get the Rampaging Ferocidon. We could take Golos. We have good Jeskai mana, and we have 2 Manlands and a Karakas. Yeah, let's take a Golos speculatively. Elesh Norn is not that good, I think. And then if we do pick up a couple random lands, we can play the Golos. Like here we get Shattered Sanctum. That's good. None of the other cards are good for us, so we can take this, and then even if we don't have the mana for Ashiok, we could potentially just play a random Shattered Sanctum over a Plains and then pick up a green land somewhere like a breeding pool and then run Golos. We are definitely a bit light on top end at the moment, but I'm not too worried about that. I think we should be able to fill out the top end in pack 3. Now we'll take Faith Fetters, which is a pretty good piece of interaction. We don't have any, or before this, we didn't have any clean answers to Planeswalkers, other than, I guess, Teferi Minus. But this is worse than something like Council's Judgment, or even probably Oblivion Ring. But I like having access to a few of this effect, like at least one for sure, and then ideally 2, just so if your opponent resolves a Planeswalker, you're not just really behind to it. Karmic Guide is unplayable for us. We'll take Tidehollow Sculler in case the Black Splash happens. Vindicate for the same reason. And Whisperwood. Okay. So we have 15 very good Jeskai spells. We have pretty good mana. Nice. Getting past another Mox is good, of course. This pack is really good all around. Swords of Plowshares, Coalition Relic, Chrome Mox. Probably not Tinker, but Narset. Maybe even Lumbering Falls, Fraven Inspector, but definitely taking the on-color Mox. Ancestral Recall would be the best card we could get here. The best card we could reasonably get, because it's unlikely that someone's going to pass that, would be, I was going to say, like a cheap Planeswalker, like Teferi or Dak Faden. But this is honestly close. Expressive Iteration is phenomenal. This package is great for us all around. Firebolt, Inspired Idea, Factor Fiction, and Expressive Iteration are all great cards. I think the Iteration is the one we want to take here, though. It's just a clean 2-for-1, card advantage, and card selection. Blue card to pitch to force. Just a great card. There's a chance it would come around. It's probably more likely that this would come around than either of these. But I think it's also solidly better. Yeah, I'm going to take this. I really do hope that we wheel one of these. And there's a decent chance we do, but it's not guaranteed. But I think Expressive Iteration is just a really great card. Now we get Colonnade. Very good pickup. This pack all around is not great for us. There is Pestermite, which there's still a world where we somehow end up in that combo, but we'll definitely take this. And now, I was thinking we're light on win conditions, but we actually have 3 manlands. So, just manlands backed up with, like, Burn Spell and Card Draw is a really good place to be. There's a Botanical Sanctum, which is good with the Golos that we might be trying to play. But we could also just take Brainstorm. I guess Brainstorm is pretty bad for us at the moment. We don't have any fetch lands or ways to shuffle our library. But it is a blue card for Force, and it's a Delve card for Dig Through Time. And Botanical Sanctum is a pretty bad land. Yeah, let's take the Brainstorm. Okay, Urza's Saga is decent. We do have a couple Moxen, but I still think Shark Typhoon is going to be better for us. Yeah, we need some top end, and this is a good win condition that's also not bad early on. And it's a blue card. Yeah, let's take the Shark Typhoon. There's a Scrubland. That is a better black land to play than Shattered Sanctum for sure. What else is there in this pack? Not much. We could take a Blade Splicer for the board against decks where we need to clog up the ground, but I think we are going to just take the Scrubland here. Okay. Wow, actually really close pick. Mana Tithe, Spellseeker, and Gideon Juro are all pretty good. I kind of think we need to take the Gideon, though. I want a little bit more top-end win conditions, and Gideon is a pretty good one. There's a chance it would come around and be the last pick. But I don't. It's probably going to be Ludovic, so let's just take the Gideon. So we need probably 3 more spells. Golos. I don't want to play 1 Forest. And I don't want to play Golos if we don't have a green land. So we'll see if that makes a cut or not. I do think we have pretty good fixing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red sources. 1, 2, 3, 4 blue sources. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white. This pack is not very good for us. Knight of the Reliquary could be good with all our manlands, but we don't have good green mana. Dragon's Rage Channeler is somewhat interesting. Yeah, I honestly think we can take this card. We have a lot of cheap spells, so we can get Surveil value pretty quickly, and then We have multiple enchantments, like Shark Typhoon, Control Magic, and Faith Fetters, in addition to instant sorceries, stuff like that. So I think it wouldn't be too hard to get this to be 3-3. Okay, Coalition Relic, but I think we actually just take Lumbering Falls here. And then we can play the Golos. Is this worth it? Because Coalition Relic is quite good. I think we're actually probably supposed to take the Coalition Relic. Golos is sweet, but this just makes our mana perfect. Yeah, let's take this. Nice, we get Inspired Idea on the wheel. Also storing Wildwood, but we just don't need Golos at this point. I think we have enough other stuff going on. Plus, then, like, I don't want to play a bunch of tapped lands that have no benefits other than just supporting one card. So we have 2 Moxen and a Coalition Relic. This could be a 16 lander. So in that case, we would want one more spell. We're not an Emery deck, so we'll take Hydroid Krasis just in case we get a weird green land super late. Yorion the Sky Nomad does not seem good here. Soulfire Grandmaster actually could be reasonable, though. We don't have the combo with it. There's a decent sideboard card. But we do have just a lot of cheap spells. Like Soulfire Grandmaster into 6 damage on Holy Heat your thing, gain 6 life is really good. And then we can all, with all these 1-mana spells, it's not that hard to get to 5 mana and just be able to have infinite ousts or infinite preordains or something like that. All right, I think this deck is pretty sweet. Very low curve and a lot of cheap interaction. We're light on counter magic, so we could struggle against combo decks. Really, yeah, called the Ludovic last pick. We want to be playing against just creature decks. Like, we have so many good ways to interact with creatures for cheap. And then our top end lines up very well against creatures as well. Stuff like Reanimator could be a little bit tougher. But I think this deck is very sweet. Let's see how the lands look. Sort by color. So we're base blue, which is good. 10 blue cards, 5 red cards, 9 white cards. So blue, white, splashing red. This gives us for blue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We want more than that. For red, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's probably more than we need. I think we can exchange 1 island in here. And for white, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's also probably more than we need, so we can cut that and add 1 more island. Now just to recount 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blue. I think that's fine. All right, we'll run like this. I think this Jeskai deck is very sweet. We have 2 1-color Moxen, lots of cheap interaction, some good win conditions. We're a little bit light on top end against decks that have a bunch of ways to deal with our top end. Like against blue-black control with counter magic and Heroes Downfalls and Ashiok. That would probably be our worst matchup. But I think the deck is pretty sweet, and I'm excited to see how it goes. So I'll see you in round 1. All right, we have our round 1 opponent with our sweet Jeskai control deck. On the draw, though, unfortunately, our roll was just a 1. Okay, we can keep this hand. It's not phenomenal, but we can use the cantrips to find cheap interaction, hopefully, and red mana. Bloodstained Mire, okay. Ooh. I think this should be a good matchup overall, but turn 1 Ragavan is terrifying. Okay, we should be able to find something with that. I think we're actually going to Brainstorm here and put something that we don't want on top for them to hit with the Ragavan, and then our goal is to find Red Source off of the Preordain next turn. So they're going to get a treasure, but that's it. So Brainstorm, looking for red mana. No red mana here. That's pretty bad. I think we just give them the Elspeth. Yeah. That's just really expensive. We're not going to be able to play that for a very long time. Then we're going to draw the Gideon and get 3 looks to try and find a red source. We could also play Soulfire Grandmaster, but that's pretty unlikely to work. It's very likely that they're just going to have a kill spell for it. Oh, blue-red. Interesting. Evoke Muldrift. Okay. That's good. I'm not going to Force of Will that, though. Oh, wait. Oh, my gosh. What am I doing? That was just a terrible play. I forgot we had Caracas. Okay, so we should have just Caracas this. We're going to preordain looking for lands. Those aren't red lands, but do we still need to keep them? I think I will keep one plane or one island and play Caracas and pass. So yeah, that was a misplay. We should have denied them the treasure. It's still not the end of the world. Like they just used it to evoke a Muldrifter. They were going to evoke us either way, and it did let us clear a card that we don't really want in our hand. But still, I mean, we should definitely Caracas this. So unclear exactly what sort of build they have. They could be playing Splinter Twin. They could just be playing Blue Red Control, which would be a somewhat tough matchup, I think. I was hoping they were playing an aggressive deck, but it looks like they're not. They portend targeting themselves, okay. So they're up one card. That's the only real exchange that's happened other than one for one trades and card filtering. If we draw a brick, I think we will just play Soulfire Grandmaster and hold up Caracas. Haunted Ridge, okay, lots of colors over there. They just replay the Ragavan, that's fine. Mox, that's interesting. Still not playing that this turn, but that's not a bad draw. Of course, I prefer the red Mox since we don't have red mana. If we draw a red source, we could go Unholy Heat with a Soulfire activation, which would be pretty sweet. They did not shuffle with our portend, so there's a good chance they have something solid on top. We don't really have much of a sideboard. We might bring in Golos for this matchup. Just Golos for a value land. I don't think I'm going to play Forest still, but Golos for Caracas or Golos for Colonnade or something could be a good play, and we'll probably have excess removal that we don't need. There's the Mox Ruby. Okay. Let's play land. I'm just going to play 2 Mox and an attack. Lightning Strike. Okay, I'm not going to Force of Will this, I think. Let's just let this happen and then play the post-combat Gideon Jura. Okay, Gideon should be solid here. He's very good against burn spells. If they have like second Black Source and Hero's Downfall, that would be pretty bad. Then we won't have much gas left over. Okay, they do have double black. Hopefully no clean answer to the Gideon. If we get to untap with him and hold up Force of Will, I like our position a lot. They're on a 3-turn clock. We have good interaction for any blockers they could have or attackers to kill the Gideon. But this is a key turn. They just play Ragavan. That's really good for us. Probe, that's fine. Probably should have probed before playing the Ragavan, but doesn't really matter. Unless, I guess they could have drawn a 4-drop they want to play. We're ahead on board and ahead on mana, but they do have a lot of cards in hand. And we don't have a great hand. Actually, maybe this hand is good. This is a phenomenal hand in a lot of matchups, but against like a deck with a bunch of counter magic and planeswalkers, it's not. So we just need to hope they don't jam Jace the Mind Sculptor or something here. But I guess Gideon pressures planeswalkers very well. Okay, I like that this is 2 blue and 1 black instead of 2 black and 1 blue. Oh, whoa. Okay. But just Caracas. This seems absolutely phenomenal for us. I don't know why they would play this here. This gives us more cards than it gives them. Although we draw an absolute brick of a hand, so that sucks. Expressive Iteration, very good draw. So let's go Oust in the hand, exile Teferi. Then we go land, Teferi. Plus, I think I will hit them for 6 here. We could. There's an argument for plussing again in case they have something like a Thundermaw Hellkite, but I still think it's worth it to do this. So then we'll untap 2 lands. Oh! We might have wanted to play Steam Vents there so that we could have Lightning Helix available. It's pretty unlikely to matter, but it could. You gotta like our position here. We're ahead on mana, we have 2 Planeswalkers. Now our hand is pretty good. They get Expressive Iteration, that's fine. They just get a probe. Okay, Paying Life is dicey here, because now they're dead in 1 turn to the Helix plus Gideon. So they need to find something pretty drastic immediately. If they play something we really care about, we're going to brainstorm in response, hoping to find blue card plus Force of Will. So Jeskai versus Grixis. We both agree that Expressive Iteration is great. Yeah, I think we're just going to bring in Golos and cut Wrath of God and then run it like that. I think Wrath of God is important when your opponent's playing a bunch of creatures, but it's pretty bad against individual creatures, certainly very bad against Ragavan. So I think I'd rather have Oust and the burn spells and stuff like that against their deck that has primarily just individual creatures, it seems like, rather than flooding the board with 6 mana elves or something. Well, with that being said, then they just play Seasoned Pyromancer. So maybe we do want the Wrath. Just discarding 2 lands. So they're dead on board. Unless they have Force of Will. Dragon's Channeler. Okay, they're still dead on board. Plus, play Wrath of God. Play Lightning Helix Your Face. And swing in for the win. Alright, sweet. The deck looks good. Dragon's Channeler, Ragavan, Seasoned Pyromancer, Expressive Iteration, and it sort of looks like a constructed deck. Probe is good for them too. Especially Probe is good with the Channeler. But I think we should be okay. I think I like the Golos. Just get it, presenting 2 threats is good against this sort of deck, it seems like. Also getting a mana advantage is nice. But what to cut? I think I like the Soulfire. I think I like the Wall, especially against Ragavan. We didn't see many artifacts, but I still think I want to leave in this. And it's not bad just as a 2-mana 2/1 flyer. Yeah, I think on the play, or on the draw, we'll just run it back. On the play, I might cut. I might try and be a little bit more proactive and bring in the Golos. Okay, solid hand. Turn 2, Dragon's Rage Chandler. We have good mana. We have 2 man lands. And if they have a aggressive draw, we have Wrath of God on 4. Okay, no Ragavan is great. Portend is also fine. If they had Ancestral Vision, that could have been a little bit problematic. But just Island Portend is a very passive start that I'm happy to see. Plains was an okay draw. Next turn it's Chandler plus Colonnade, and then the turn after we have the option of cycling Shark Typhoon for 1 if we want to. Elspeth, okay. And if they use a burn spell on this, that's totally fine. It's a 1 mana for 2 mana exchange, presumably. Oh, they get black mana there. So we are going to, if they're going to kill the Chandler, it's going to be on their turn, which is good for us. No Planeswalker here. No Ashiok. Dak Faden would be fine, but no Ashiok especially. Okay. Just cast Ragavan is totally fine. So Let's just go Island Pass. And if they kill our Dragon's Rage Chandler to try and get a Ragavan hit in, we can cycle the Shark Typhoon and get a nice 2-for-1. Okay, looks like that is what's going to happen. If they have a Fatal Push or something, that would be bad. We actually have multiple cards that care about Delirium with Dragon's Rage Chandler and Unholy Heat. So that's something to keep an eye on. We're up to 2 types now. Go block. All right, nice. That worked out. And they play land and hopefully just pass. They only have 4 cards in hand. Okay, good draw. So let's go Burst Lightning and then pass, or play tap land and pass. And we can use Burst Lightning with Lifelink at instant speed if they play something we care about. And then next turn we can play this with Cleave just to draw 3. I really like playing this alongside burn spells. Lightning Helix becomes 2 mana, deals 3 damage, gains 6 life. We don't have double red at the moment, so we can't animate Needle Spires. That's one thing we'd like to find. And, I mean, certainly Force of Will, just to insulate us against some really scary things. The problem is, if we play in Cleave Inspired Idea, we're not impacting the board at all. And then they could just play Time Twister and undo all the advantage we just gained. So maybe we should try and prioritize finding stuff that plays to the board. Gideon Juro would be a great draw. All right, they just pass. We'll untap. Force of Will, very good draw. So let's attack first. And then I think I am going to cleave this. And if we don't draw a single blue card, that would be unfortunate. But hopefully we do. No blue cards. Well, if they have Time Twister here, we're basically at parity. I think we'd still be slightly ahead probably, but not by much. But if we get to untap, then we're going to be massively ahead. Don't be Time Twister. Don't be Time Twister. Light up the stage. That's fine. Huh. They cannot. Oh, wait, no, they can't go Haunted Ridge Expressive Iteration, but they have to do Expressive Iteration having already played land, which is much worse. It's a lot harder to get a 2-for-1 here because the only cards they can cast this turn are 1-mana spells. And so next turn, we'll see what we draw. If we don't draw a blue card. Actually, no, we should probably just play Elspeth no matter what. Yeah, we will play Elspeth, but I would really like to draw a blue card. Baral, Chief of Compliance. Okay. Blue card? Not a blue card. Alright, well, I'm going to get this land out so if they do play Time Twister, we have double red. And then we'll just jam our Elspeth. Which is pretty good. If they play Time Twister and give us 7 new cards when we have 5 power and a 6-mana Planeswalker and 2 mana lands in play, that's a winning situation for us. It would be 100% over if we had the Force of Will, and now it's only probably over. And if they don't play Time Twister and don't massively impact the board, we're just going to hold up Force of Will, hardcast. Whoa, Desperate Ritual. I guess maybe they're playing Storm. Sort of a weird Storm deck, but fair enough. They have 7 mana and 5 cards. No Brawl, which is nice. Okay, yeah, it looks like they are playing Storm. We're trying to, at least. So, maybe we are going to regret tapping out for this Elspeth. They have a ton of mana now. So if they have Time Twister, they're going to be in pretty good shape. We can beat a pretty big Empty the Warrens, though. We just need to hope it's not a Lethal Tendrils. There's a chance that Shocking for the Steam Vents ends up coming back to bite us. They need 11 Tendrils right now, and they would have needed 12. There's also always the chance that we draw Force of Will plus a blue card after the Time Twister. If they do play Empty the Warrens, Pyroclasm is a card we'll want to bring in. Treasure Cruise, alright. 9 mana, 5 cards. Storm count of 4, I think. They are a bit constrained on blue mana. That could help us. Turnabout, untapping their lands. Okay. That nets them 2 mana. This card is much better when you have High Tide in play. It's still not bad here, but not nearly as good as it would be. But now their colored mana issues are gone. They have as much blue mana as they need. They have 11 mana, 4 cards. Storm count's 5. Now they play the High Tide. Alright, so yeah, they are just 100% Storm. Like, I didn't really realize that from their Game 1 thing. I think, like, Ragavan into Moldrifter made me think they were much more of just a value deck. Also, like, Dragon Rage Chandler, Seasoned Pyromancer, they have a lot of creatures for a Storm deck. Mind's Desire for 7. Okay. This could kill us. Goblin Electromancer, land. DRC, okay. I mean, so far it's not too bad. Char. Last hit. Alright, wow, they got pretty unlucky there. 4 lands. Mind's Desire for 7 is a little bit dicey, though. It's not that unlikely to hit a bunch of lands there. They could still just have the Tendrils in hand. Tendrils or Brain Freeze in hand would kill us here. They can char our face down to 18. They kill our Seasoned Pyromancer, or our Soulfire Grandmaster. They also kept their card on top, which might mean they were just going to kill us and they wanted to preserve information. Or it might mean they have a card that can kill Elspeth. But if we get to untap, I think we just win. Like, they sort of shot their shot. All their good cards are in their graveyard. They could have Time Twister. If they have to either have Time Twister or kill us this turn. If we get to untap with Force of Will in our current board, then it's not going to be hard for us to win this game. Well, 8 mana is a lot. What is this? 9 mana? Emrakul. Okay. If we draw a blue card, we're going to lose. Because they can play Wrath of God and then Force of Will our own Wrath of God. But I think we're in pretty good shape if we don't draw a blue card. Faith's Fetters. Okay, sweet. So they can take out our Elspeth and they can blow all our burn spells. But we're going to get to sweep the board. And I guess they could still go Wall of Omens to try and draw a blue card. That's probably the line they need to take. Because I think if we sweep their board, what are they going to do? Like, they have 1 card. We still have 2 man lands, and they're at 13. So they're definitely going to attack with all 3 soldiers and kill them all. Then they're probably going to Faith's Fetters the Elspeth, and then just use both burn spells on the Elspeth. I think that's my prediction for what they're going to do. So then that'll get rid of all of our board, but we'll still have Wrath of God and Wall of Omens in hand. But I think they should play the Wall of Omens, because I think I don't know. It's close. If we can deal with the Emrakul, we have just multiple ways to deal with the Emrakul, which is very bad for them. So they start with Faith Fetters on the Elspeth. That makes sense. then yeah, probably just use both burn spells on the Elspeth, which will kill it because we don't have an instant in the graveyard yet. So once we play Unholy Heat, or sorry, once we play Burst Lightning, Unholy Heat will be Delirious and deal 6. I guess at that point we could just go, or they could go Burst Lightning our face, hit us to 14, then kill the Elspeth. Very happy we didn't cut the Wrath of God. If this was a Golos, we would be in much worse position. So Burst Lightning our face. Do they see the line? They do. Good job, opponent. Still not a winning line, but they're doing what they can. I still think they probably should have played Wall of Omens, though. But I guess the problem is if they play Wall of Omens into Hardcast Wrath and Force of Will, we still have the Elspeth, so maybe this actually is better than that. Plus, we could always just not draw the blue card. But yeah, you gotta like this position here. They have nothing left. We have a Force of Will in hand. It doesn't really matter if they attack or not. They might as well just to clear everything out in case we draw something that changes it, but we're almost definitely playing Wrath of God. Okay, nice. Drawing a blue card there is huge. So let's go land, Wrath, Wall. Probably just pitching the Brainstorm to the Force if they play something we need to counter. Time Twister. All right, definitely countering that. So now we just want to close out the game as fast as possible. So let's go Animate Needle Spires. Hit for 4, and then just card cast Thieving Skydiver. And I am going to put the land into play just in case they have another draw 7. I want to be able to just have a lot of mana and draw a lot of spells. So they're dead in 2 turns. All right, there we go. Took down Storm in round 1. Good start. I'll see you in round 2. All right, we have our round 2 opponent. Looking to get trophy number 18. And I think this is a keep. It's a little bit sketchy, but we have Force of Will. We need to find 1 blue or red land, and that'll give us Expressive Iteration. And Iteration should be able to find us at least 1 more land, and then we can just develop into the mid-game very successfully. But we do need to find 1 land that's not a plains. Get that nice tapped manland into play. Friendly opponent, you always love to see that. Oof. Drawing a 6-drop was the worst thing we possibly could have drawn. Yeah, there's actually 100% there was no worse draw on the deck. So that's fun. Hopefully we can draw the best draw on the deck next turn, which would be Seagram Coast. Days. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to Force of Will that. Come on, land. Okay, not a bad draw, but we're not going to play it here. It just doesn't help us. The other Mox would have been an amazing draw. That's the second time where we've drawn Mox Pearl and wished it was Mox Ruby. Okay, good draw now. We're still just going to pass. I want to play Expressive Iteration on a turn when we can hit the land drop off of it. Playing against Mono Blue. That's not really the matchup we want. All right, let's play the Iteration. Hopefully this resolves. I don't think I'm going to use a Force of Will to protect it if they counter this. Okay, that does work. Let's go Gideon in the hand. Alst on the bottom. Exile Steam Vents. Then we go Steam Vents untapped. Mox Pearl. And attempt to resolve Coalition Relic. And if this works, now we're in great shape because we have a huge mana advantage. We have Force of Will, and we have a great hand. I don't really want to pitch the Teferi because that is our best Planeswalker in this situation, I think. Haven't you made enough mana? Alright, so we'll pass back to the opponent, and then just start dropping planeswalkers down from the sky, which should be tough for them to deal with. Oh, Mishra's Workshop. That's scary. So they could play like a Wormcoil Engine here, Mindslaver. They have some good options. We do have Faith's Fetters and Force of Will, so we have good answers. Oh, they are also trying to make some mana. Okay. They may have a counterspell. I sort of think they would have. I guess there's a reason. They might not have used it on one of these things last turn. So I think we want to play Elspeth here because I want to hold up Force of Will just in case. If they have like Upheaval or something, we'll need to answer that. So we have 8 mana, so yeah, not enough to play hold up Force of Will Hardcast or something. So let's cast the Elspeth. Force of Negation. Do we want to force this through? I think so, actually. Sorry, Teferi. I love Teferi, but I think this is correct here. Elspeth is going to be very hard for their deck to deal with, I think. The only thing that we, like Upheaval would get us here, of course. But Elspeth is a quick clock, and blue decks don't have great interaction for that sort of thing. Of course, I do wish we could hold it to Teferi, so if either one of these cards was a blue card, I would happily pitch that instead. They have a ton of mana here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they could hardcast Sundering Titan. They could play Mirror Battlesphere. A lot of different good options. Six mana. I guess we should not have 6 because there's a world where we use Karakas. A huge Walking Ballista could be an issue. Okay, that's not a problem. I think we're going to Faith's Fetters, the Mirror Battlesphere. And if we draw land, we can also play Gideon. Okay, I mean, not a bad draw because of the Gideon thing. So we'll make some white mana. Faith's Fetters this. Then Gideon Jura Plus. And we'll pass. And now, I mean, we'll see what they have. They still have 3 cards in hand, and they still have a ton of mana. And now we're top decking. So they fought through all of our Haymakers. Or I guess they didn't fight through them. We still have them on the board. But if they have a good way to deal with them, things could go downhill for us. This is a matchup where we really are going to miss not having more counterspells. Oh, jeez. They have a ridiculous amount of mana. We can kill off 4 of their mirror, take them off for 4 mana after they attack, but they get to tap the Tolarian Academy first. A lot of things could kill us here. They have 7, 10, 15 mana for artifacts. I think Walking Ballista would probably be the worst. Okay, Batterskull is not a problem. We can outgrind all the stuff they're doing right now. They can re-equip the Batterskull to one of the mirror, and then we'll just chump block that one and kill off the other 3. Consecrated Sphinx. Okay, we might need to minus the Elspeth now. And they're still going to get to draw 2 cards. Yeah, this is not ideal. Because now we're also going to be really far away from ultimating the Elspeth. They have to attack with everything, so this mirror also will swing in. And we definitely want to trade down the board. If we were about to ultimate Elspeth, we might want to preserve our tokens, but I think we're going to need to minus, so this will be not -7ing for quite a while. They have 3 creatures that we can kill. We just draw a brick, though. That's bad. So it's really going to come down to how good these top decks were. They're still going to have Batterskull in play, which they can return to their hand and replay. But we can make infinite chump blockers for that. The problem is, like, how are we eventually going to go over the top? Because Teferi's gone. We have both of these planeswalkers in play. We don't really have more ways to win the game other than manlands. So that could be a little bit dicey. Let's -3 this. Then 0 Gideon. Animate this. I'm not going to play the land until after attacking because there's a world where they bounce this land and we want to replay it. So we're swinging for 12. Maybe we're closer to killing them than I thought we were. So we'll switch the power and toughness of this bad boy. And they take 12. I'm playing the land. They could have Armageddon or something. But if they want to Armageddon away the lands when we have all of this stuff on board, that is fine with me. They bounce their Batterskull, okay. So if they just play Batterskull and pass, they have way less mana now because we killed all their stuff. If they just play Batterskull and pass, we can ultimate Elspeth and then kill them. That's a little bit risky because it means we're losing our Elspeth, and if they have a way to interact with us, that could be bad. So I'm probably not going to do that if they play Batterskull and then have a bunch of open mana. Golos. Okay, we can bounce that with Karakas. They have some good value lands. Their deck does seem pretty sweet. And like it would be a tough matchup. We don't have great interaction for artifacts, although we can bring in Goblin Welder, which is actually a very good sideboard card here. Potentially Worn Power Stone as well. So they're holding Batterskull and 2 unknowns. At this point, they're going to have to tap pretty low on mana if they want to play the Batterskull, so I would go for it. And it's an onboard thing. Like, they know we have the Karakas. So if they have nothing, they might choose to not play the Batterskull, which would be just a bluff, trying to make us afraid to go for it. Although, actually, that we don't even have to risk anything to go for it, because we can just Karakas this and then go. Like, we don't have to sacrifice our Elspeth to threaten lethal if they don't play the Batterskull. So I don't think just passing is really a viable option unless they actually have Cryptic Command or something like that. If they play the Batterskull, I'm going to bounce the Golos in response so that they never have 3 artifacts in play. This means that Tolarian Academy will only tap for 2. So they have 2 mana. They could have really just Brazen Borrower. I think that's the only card that would get them out of this. Wrath of God. That actually seems better. Do we have enough mana for it? So if we pay 4 for Wrath of God, then we can go for the kill without having to risk our Elspeth. Yeah, let's do that. This does show them that we have the Wrath of God, but I think it's a safer line. If they do have the Petty Theft for the Gideon, then we still get to have Elspeth in play. So we'll make 1/1s. Animate this. Animate this. And attack. Do you have anything? All right, sweet. So we take down game 1 against Golzo. Makes sense that he's playing Golos. This should be a tough matchup, though. I think we don't have the best interaction for them, so it's nice to be able to steal game 1. We bring in the Welder. What do we not want? Wall of Omen seems pretty medium. Do we want to bring in either of these things over some of the removal? Like Burst Lightning and Unholy Heat both seem only okay. In particular, Burst Lightning. Yeah, let's bring in Golos over Burst Lightning, I think. And then we'll submit like this. Pyroclasm is good against Mirror Battlesphere, but really only that. All right, here we are for round 2, or game 2 of round 2. Good hand, we'll keep it. It's a little bit heavy on mana. We only have one spell that's not mana, but it's good to develop our mana early and not fall behind their mana generation. I think I will just play turn 1 Soulfire Grandmaster just to get a little bit of a clock going. The Mirror Signet, okay. All right, lots of artifact mana here. Not a lot to do with it, but hopefully we top deck into something. Yeah, our opponent's right that it is pretty sweet that we were able to get double Mox. I think we might have gotten past... No, we got past one of them. So, yeah, I mean, we have double Mox, but we're not really doing anything. We need to draw some top end. Expressive Iteration, any Planeswalker. That draw 3 card with Cleave. They have Golos. Okay. That's pretty annoying. I don't want a Wrath of God here. But we can't attack. They can get probably Solarian Academy. And then they have 2 cards. So the question is just what are their last 2 cards? They have a ton of mana, so if they have a huge payoff, we're probably in bad shape. They could have Mirror Battlesphere, and then we can sweep away the Golos and the Bottle Ball. Let's put a counter on this. Okay. Yeah, let's just go. Oh, wait. We can steal this, and we can actually use Golos because we have Coalition Relic. That's awesome. So we go control magic this, play Colonnade, and then next turn we can spin the Golos. Because it can make both black and green mana. Plus, that cuts their mana. Now, Tolarian Academy only taps for 2, so they have 6 mana. They could go land Mirror Battlesphere, but they can't do any of the ridiculous, like, Ugin, like, Ulamog stuff, which is what we really want to make sure they can't do. I think we can go over the top of just a few creatures with something like Golos activation. Coalition Relic is so good. This card just single-handedly fixes your mana so well. We also have a life advantage, which isn't super relevant, but it does mean if it get like with double manland, if we can get their life total low enough, even if they're way ahead on board, we can just chip in for a few points of damage with Colonnade for the win. So every point of damage does matter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can even spin Golos before playing a land, which means if we hit another manland or a Karakas or some sort of value land we really want, we can we don't have to let that go to waste. Just want to make sure that it is recording, right? Yeah, okay, cool. All right, they pass. Put a charge counter on this. Hopefully this hesitation doesn't mean they have a bounce spell. Looks like they do, though. Brutal. Cryptic Command to bounce Golos and draw. Yeah. Okay, there's nothing we could have done about that, but that is a disaster. Now we just have nothing going. Gideon Jura, though, that's good. I do think we should play that rather than hit them for 6. So they go to 12 here. They can play Golos again and grab Mishra's Workshop or Academy Ruins. If we just animate Colonnade and attack with everything, They could either go to 2 and kill the Soulfire or chump block the Gideon. Either one of which seems pretty good for us. We did cut Burst Lightning, didn't we? Yeah, that's a bummer. Although Golos would be a really good draw too. We still have the Coalition Relic, so we can spin it whether it's our Golos or their Golos. They just pass. Very strange. They could have Mystic Confluence. Thieving Skydiver. Good draw. So let's steal their Mox, or their Signet to start. So if it is Mystic Confluence, we have 3 mana available, so they have to use the counter mode twice. If it's Hardcast Force of Will, we're just totally good. Torrential Gearhulk. Okay, that's bad. That's actually quite bad. So they can counterbounce Gideon, and we cannot replay the Gideon. They could also counter draw, but I think that's worse. Yeah, they found the line. All right, double Cryptic Command is pretty good. So now we just pass. We have the Wrath of God to deal with the Golos. If we draw land, wait. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, if we draw land, we can go Wrath plus Gideon next turn. But Gearhulk is quite good with Cryptic Command. So hopefully they just... Okay, they are untapping the Mana Vault. Makes sense. Then hopefully they just jam Golos and pass. And then we can sweep away both of their creatures. Hopefully stick a Gideon and then pressure them pretty quickly after that. So their hand is Golos and 2 unknowns. Tanglewire. Strange card. Then they play Golos. Alright, so we're just going to play the Wrath of God here. I guess if they hadn't played the Tanglewire, we could have gone for the sort of funny line of activate Soulfire Grandmaster, then play Wrath and get the Wrath back. Yeah, I guess if they have Academy Ruins to rebuy these things, that could be a little bit problematic. But they only have 1 card. So we're going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4, then still have enough mana to play the Wrath. Oust is an okay draw, but we're still playing the Wrath this turn. The Academy Ruins is a bit of an issue, though. They can just always draw good cards. Gideon and Manlands could... Actually, yeah, Colonnade could be our way to beat that. We can kill them in 3 swings. Do we have enough mana to animate Colonnade this turn? We need to tap 3 things, so we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to draw land to be able to do that. So we can either, if we draw land, we can animate Colonnade, and if we don't draw land, we can attack or play Gideon. Oh wait, no. Actually, yeah, that is right. Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna put a counter on this and then F6. They know about the Gideon. They don't know about the Oust. All right, do your worst. Now you know we don't have Spell Pierce. I don't think that would have changed your play either way, though. So they just take a natural draw step. They have 8 mana. That's a lot, but they only have 2 cards, one of which was a top deck. Metalworker. Okay, that is fine. One, two, three. Okay, do we want to hit them with Colonnade or play Gideon? I think just hit them with Colonnade. Just make them have an answer. Oh, no! Okay, I misplayed this. Yeah, that was a mistake. I tapped poorly. Now we don't have enough blue. And since we played Sacred Foundry, we cannot undo it. So now we have to play the Gideon. We'll plus and just pass, I think. We could play the Oust, but I don't think that is worth it. So, slight misplay. I think it would have been better to hit them with Colonnade. It's honestly not even 100%. I'm not 100% sure that's true. It's possible that it is just better to get the Gideon down. But that was poor tapping, of course. They don't put one of their artifacts on top of their library. That's a little surprising to me. But I guess these things are mostly just chump blockers anyways, so if that's all they're drawing, then that's like it's sort of a cycle where every turn they're just chump blocking and then we're hitting them with Colonnade, and that's not a thing that they win. So they go down to 10. They have a ton of mana, 10 mana at least, plus potentially more from Metalworker. They have to attack the Metalworker at the Gideon. So if they have Mirror Battlesphere, that is what would be scary. We could still potentially beat it with a Colonnade, but hopefully they don't have that. Vendilion Clique. Okay, that's fine. That can block Colonnade, but I'm not too afraid of that. They probably should... Oh, they hit themselves. Okay, I guess that makes sense. They need to find some action. They put Mana Crypt away. Makes sense. Their deck is really good. Mana Crypt, Mana Vault. Lots of good stuff. We draw land. Not a good draw, of course. So we can force the chump block. I think that's just got to be the right play. So land. And make Colonnade. Cryptic Command is gone, so I'm not playing around that anymore. We can play the land before animating, which means we can use the Coalition Relic. Animate this. Attack with both. So they're going to go down to 6. And then the question is, do we want to oust their Metalworker? What is this? Gearhulk's gone. Oh, Shark Typhoon. Okay, fair enough. Oh, they're making a 1/1 though. That seems like a misclick. Or maybe they're just planning on double blocking the Colonnade. Yeah, I don't know. That was sort of... Yeah, I guess they were trying to make this a 5/5. So if they made this a 5/5 successfully, they could kill the Colonnade. We would oust the Shark, but we would be pretty behind. But now I don't think they can come back. They only have 1 card, which was a blind draw. They probably double block the Colonnade, yep. And then they go to 4. And then do we want to oust this Metalworker? I don't care about the mana, but it just means that they wouldn't have a blocker. But then Gideon would no longer be a lethal attacker. So I think we're just going to pass. We'll see if they do anything with, like, bring back Golos in their upkeep. If they take 1 off of the Mana Vault, then we can oust their Metalworker and still kill them with Gideon. That's why we didn't want to play oust on our turn. It just gives them more information about their life total. and the board state. Okay, they are untapping their Mana Vault, sure. Now we'd like to avoid playing the Oust if possible because both Wandering Fumarole and Gideon are lethal attackers. They put Gearhulk on top. That's very strange. I would have thought they would want Golos because it seems like they're chump blocking either way. I guess Gearhulk means that. Oh no, Gearhulk does make sense because they can. Then we can't attack with a Fumarole. Do we have Delirium? We have land, enchantment, creature, sorcery. So we do have Delirium. Unholy Heat would win us the game. If they main phase the Gearhulk, that would be a bad play. These manlands are clutch. They're the reason we're not falling behind. We were able to get an early damage with Soulfire Grandmaster and then set up the manland, so it'd be a lot of pressure in the late game. Also, I think there's game 2, so wow. We have 18 minutes and they have under 5. That's a little bit ridiculous. Gearhulk has flash, so they're probably not playing Gearhulk if they're tapping mana on their turn. Turnabout to untap their lands. Okay. I feel like it would have been better to use that to tap our creatures and buy a turn. So they have... yeah, they can play an instant speed 6/6. We'll see if we draw anything good here. We do not. So what happens if we animate the... If we animate the Wandering Fumarole and attack with both? They eat the Fumarole with their Gearhulk, and they chump block the Gideon with their Metalworker. If we instead oust the Metalworker here, they go to 7, same play, but well, they eat the Wandering Fumarole and go to 1. So I don't think we really gain anything by attacking with that. Let's just animate Gideon and attack with only Gideon. Then they can chump block with Metalworker. But that seems like a winning situation for us. So we'll animate. Not animate the Fumarole. So they play Gearhulk. Right. They can play Gearhulk and Turnabout. Fair. Okay, I forgot about that. That's fair. So they tap our Gideon. Then I think we just want to oust the Gearhulk. They can't kill our Gearhulk either, or our Gideon either way. Yeah, let's oust this. Actually, do we even want to do that? We'll definitely play the Seachrome Coast. Oust the Gearhulk or not? I think we do want to do this. Because our Gideon is our livelihood here. Even if they can't kill our Gideon, if they hit him down to 2, then he's very vulnerable. So we'll pass. Very likely that our opponent... Okay, they didn't decide to put Golos on top. I guess that makes sense, because if they do play the Golos, then they lose the ability to draw Torrential Gearhulk in a turn. But Gearhulk isn't even that good of a draw. It's just a 5/6. They have no instants. We'll see. Consecrated Sphinx. Okay, good draw. Yeah, we could definitely lose this game. This Fumarole can't really attack unless we find... I mean, there's a lot... We have draws that just win instantly. Is that one of them? No, but yes. I think that makes it essentially impossible for them to come back. So let's add some white mana. Oh, they drew the Gearhulk. I did forget about that. Okay, so we'll play Elspeth. I honestly think we want to plus Gideon here, actually. Yeah, let's plus the Gideon. We're definitely plussing. I think, yeah, we do want to plus the Elspeth. We could minus kill the Sphinx, but I don't think that's correct here. Actually, no, let's animate the Gideon and attack. Yeah, let's animate the Gideon attack. They'll chump block with a Metalworker. We can still keep our Planeswalkers alive with our soldiers to block. There's the Gearhulk as a chump blocker. Or not as a chump blocker, just as a dude. They'll chump block with a Metalworker. Worth noting, the Elspeth minus does kill this Gideon. He does not become indestructible. Now, when they make Planeswalkers, they do say indestructible when they become creatures, but this one only says prevent all damage, so he's not dead to combat damage or burn spells, but he is dead to stuff like the Elspeth -3. So, interesting situation here. They can hit one of our Planeswalkers, but they can't kill either one. We can chump block the Gearhulk. They can't really afford to attack with the Gearhulk because they need to leave back blockers. They untap their Mana Vault. That makes sense. They're also down to 2 minutes. I would love to find some card draw. The card with Cleave, Preordain, something like that. Expressive Iteration. So they attack Elspeth for 4. Yep. Elspeth goes to 1. If we really want to keep our Elspeth alive, we can plus our Gideon next turn. Fate's Fetters. Okay. So I think we just go for the kill and make them have an answer. Fate's Fetters this. Animate. I guess we could have gone for the kill without playing the Fate's Fetters, but I think this is good. Now they're like really going to be in bad shape. They're taking a lot of damage, even if they can survive. They said GG, so I think we probably got this one. All right, sweet. We take down match 2. Good start. Yeah, it does feel bad running out of time. I didn't see exactly what that person said, but yeah, I hate time pressure too. We're doing really well. Yet to drop a game. I'll see you in the finals. All right, we have our opponent for the finals with our sweet Jeskai control deck. Looking to complete the trophy. This hand is playable. We're on the draw. We don't have interaction, but I think it is still a keep. Opponent's down to 5. Black, white, tapped land. Ooh. Okay. Good draw. We can play turn 1, Soulfire Grandmaster. If they kill this, they kill it. If they don't, we can start gaining some... Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Well, play Island Pass. Baleful Strix is so good. Oof. I think I am going to Brainstorm in response here, actually. Burst Lightning. So we're going to want to kill the... Let's see. How are we going to want to do this? We're going to play Expressive Iteration next turn. So we can go Expressive Iteration for Mountain Burst Lightning. Although, no. Let's go. The worst card is Island. So I think we want to go Island No. We want to go. Actually, I guess no matter what. So we're gonna draw one of these cards. So let's just go. I mean, I guess we get them all really. We go Burst Lightning Island, draw Island for turn, play Iteration, hit the Burst Lightning, and then one other card. Play Mountain from our hand, Burst Lightning it, and then we get to keep our favorite of the other two cards. Yeah, I think that's how we want to do this. They're going to bounce our Soulfire Grandmaster. Baleful Strix into Teferi on the play is a really strong start against pretty much any deck in the format. So we go Iteration. Fetters in the hand. This on the bottom, exile Burst Lightning, land, Burst Lightning, your Teferi. A clean 2-for-1 that also gave them some tempo. But we have a good hand. We can start jamming Planeswalkers now. Hopefully they don't have counter magic. I think we are just going to jam, basically. And then just hope that we have more threats than they have answers. So we'll play Island, Teferi. Next turn we can play Elspeth. Main phase Fact or Fiction. Wow, these are terrible cards though. I guess we do it like this. Yeah, I mean, they're going to get Unburial Rights either way. If we do this pile, they're almost definitely taking the bottom pile, I guess. So we could do this. Yeah, we'll do this. So they play the Ludovic, but then we can just jam our Elspeth. Island was a horrendous draw there, of course. We can bounce the Ludovic, but we still want to play Elspeth this turn. And then we can bounce the Ludovic next turn. Oh, don't like that. Whoa. Alright, so we chump block here. We can't block with all because they can just turn their thing into an Ashen Rider. But then we can Karakas to bounce this. Oh, they can also Ashen... Yeah, they can bring back... They can flashback Unburial Rights to hit the Ashen Rider and exile our Karakas. This is fine. They still have the Ludovic, but I think we're not in bad shape. We just go Faith's Fetters, your Ashen Rider, and then attack for 2. The problem is we've already gone through Elspeth and Teferi now, so we're a lot lighter on top end. Maybe we probably were supposed... Oh, they kill off their Ashen Rider, exile our Plains. Yeah, that was a good play. And then they can turn their Ludovic into an Ashen Rider. And we don't have any white sources anymore, so we need to draw some lands. Coalition Relic is an okay draw. So let's go... Coalition Relic, Wall of Omens. Okay. I think we just play out our hand here. It's not a very good hand, but it is what it is. We'll do this, hit you for 2, and pass. So they can still turn their Ludovic into an Ashen Rider. They just drew land. That's good for us. So we're taking 6 a turn in the air. That's a pretty quick clock, but we do have Soulfire Grandmaster to gain life. And a lot of live draws. We could draw Control Magic to steal their Ludovic. We could draw Gideon Jura to kill their Ashen Rider. I guess that's only a 1-for-1 trade. And then any, like, if we draw Preordain, we can just use Soulfire Grandmaster. So any spell that costs 4 or less, we can just, like, keep on recurring. Any instant or sorcery spell. So we take 6. Draw Unholy Heat. That's a good draw. So let's start by attacking them with both. And then we can kill this and rebuy the Unholy Heat. The problem is they're going to kill the Soulfire Grandmaster, so we can't keep rebuying it, but I think that's fine. So we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Unholy Heat this. We also gain 6. So for racing purposes, that's good. Then they take out this thing, and that's fine. Now we're both top decking, but we have an Unholy Heat and a lot more life. So I think we are ahead here, but, you know, any top deck war can be decided based on just a few draws. Una's Prowler is a pretty bad top deck. Put a counter on this. Preordain, excellent draw. I'm going to add white here, actually, even though we're playing a Preordain because we have so many islands. Okay. Let's just cycle Destruct Typhoon now, I think. Make it as big as possible. Actually, no. We'll just let the 1 mana go to waste. That's fine. We can make it a 2, 4, 5, 5. The benefit of waiting is it dodges sorcery speed removal, and it can kill planeswalkers. Like if they played Ashiok or something, then we could just snipe it. All right. The downside of this is that it is not a 2-turn clock, but you still gotta like this position a lot. Thieving Skydiver, so we can steal their mocks, and then we draw a Colonnade. Okay, so now they are dead in 2 turns. So we'll play the Colonnade, play this for 3. Which actually is relevant. They have a lot of mana, but they're also playing Reanimator, so they could have like 9 drops in their deck. They know our hand, so they knew that tapping that for mana was irrelevant. Alright, so they're dead next turn. They need something pretty special here. We're at 20. They have no good things in their graveyard to reanimate. They did mull to 5 this game, so the fact that we won a really close game isn't like, you know, they played well. Their deck seems pretty sweet. Ludovic was good there, actually. That's like the first time I've seen that card be good. Huh. Okay. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. They're going to have to chump block or, like, trade that with something. But that does keep them alive. Ha. Not anymore. All right. Control Magic this. And GG. They were going to die either way. Let's see. If we had... They said GG's, but that's only game 1. So if we had attacked with everything, they block this, and then we Unholy Heat this. They end up net gaining 1, so they're at 7. And then we are just like pretty ahead. We have Thieving Skydiver and Colonnade, and they're still top decking. So I think we would have won even if we had just drawn a brick. But I mean, we had a lot of draws that would win. Okay, so Reanimator, Esper Reanimator. Seems like a pretty sweet deck. They're not all in on Reanimator, though, which is better for us. They're a little bit more grindy, and I think that is what we want to see. Do we want to make any changes here? I honestly like all the removal spells a lot. Yeah, I think we just run it back. Very fancy mana base. I think this hand is a keep. We don't have like a particularly powerful proactive game plan, but I think that's fine. We'll just play 1 Ephemeral on turn 1. And I do like that we have multiple man lands and all of our colors. Fate's Fetters is also a good draw. I don't feel a particular need to play Preordain here. We don't really know what we're going for. The game hasn't developed, and we don't know if we're looking for lands or spells or what. Teferi plus Liliana. Okay. That's fine, I think. What do we pitch here, though? Not Face Fetters, not any of these three cards. Probably Oust. Actually, no, I think at that point I'll just pitch Unholy Heat. Yeah, we'll pitch this. Okay. Actually, let's start with Preordain, probably. Yeah, we'll Preordain first. If they have Reanimate Ashen Rider next turn, then Liliana Ultimate could actually be a real threat because we wouldn't be able to play Ashen Rider next turn. Preordain. Soulfire Grandmaster, Steam Vents. I don't think either of those are very good. So bottom, bottom, then coast, wall, pass. So no Ashen Rider this turn, please. Okay, actually, Shallow Grave Ashen Rider is fine. Shallow Grave is not good with Ashen Rider at all. I mean, it's fine. They get to hit us for 5 and take out 1 land, but the Ashen Rider goes away now. And it gets exiled, too. It doesn't get sacrificed. Suspicious Stowaway. Okay, we're going to oust the Suspicious Stowaway. Take 5. We'll see if they plus with a Lily. They just make a sacrifice the wall. That's fine. Good draw. But let's just oust this turn. I don't think we need to brainstorm here. And I'm going to conceal the red... do we want to conceal the red source? No, Ashen Rider's gone. We'll get the red source into play. Oust this thing so they can't start getting tons of value with that. And then we'll pass. And then I think we're just discarding Brainstorm if they plus the Liliana. And our hand is pretty sweet. We have Control Magic to deal with a Planeswalker. Ugh. That's really bad. I think I will Brainstorm in response to that, actually. And then we can just keep a bad card in hand to discard to the Lily. Okay, what's our plan for next turn? Do we want to play the Relic, or do we want to try and get some stuff down? We might want to go Relic into DRC. What do we want to discard then? Probably Plains. So let's go Control Magic, Faith's Fetters. They plus that. They don't plus the Liliana. That's good for us. So we'll play this. It's good for us because now if they want to kill our Dragon's Rage Channeler, they're going to lose their Liliana. Play the DRC. Play the Needle Spires and pass. So we know our top card is a Mind Control. They have 2 Planeswalkers on board, but I still think we're in a reasonable position. They plus that. Interesting. Let's discard, I think, just Plains. They discard Bone Shards, okay. Now we have Delirium, so this can kill either one of their Planeswalkers if they don't have an answer for it. They kill our guy. It's not an exciting play, but I think we are just going to steal this. And then they're probably going to just make a sacrifice it with Liliana, but then they don't get it, so that's okay. And then eventually our plan is to win with the Inspired Idea when both players are low on resources. Yep, they do make a sack to Stowaway. No surprise there. Now we want to draw land. Okay, nice. So we can go land, Relic, Inspired Idea. We could also try and kill one of their Planeswalkers, actually. But I think I'm just going to go for the Inspired Idea this turn. I don't really care about either one of their Planeswalkers in this situation. Our maximum hand size is reduced by 3, but that's fine. We have 4 cards. So we'll pass. If they want to plus Liliana, that's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine. We'll just discard Island. And now we will go for the kill on the Teferi, I think. Interesting draw. Now we definitely want to go for the kill at the Teferi, though, because we can also play Dig Through Time, right? We play Mox, then tap 4. Yeah, that works. So, Mox. Enemy Needle Spires. An attempt to kill Teferi. And then we can go, if this goes through, we can go end of turn Dig Through Time. Otherwise, we'll have to main phase it. But either way, we're going to get to play Dig Through Time and look at a lot of new cards. Fractured Identity. Oh my, wait, what? This does not work how you want it to, opponent. This is hilarious. This is a situation where Needle Spires is a great threat. But yeah, so we get there to Teferi. That is really good for us, of course. Yeah, I think our opponent's assessment that is probably GG is correct. Let's just bounce this for mana. Then go Island Pass. And I'm just going to discard the Mox Ruby to the Liliana if they plus. They didn't really have a good play there. They probably should have let the Teferi die. And then they could have gone for our Elspeth after we played that or something. But all right, got the trophy. A clean 6-0 sweep. You love to see it. So this was our Jeskai control deck, and it was a sweet one. We won every single game, a clean 2-0 in every single match. The deck was really good. Starting off 2 Moxen, obviously going to help. That just lets you come out of the gates fast. We had 3 Manlands, which was huge, actually. All of Needle Spires, Wandering Fumarole, and Colonnade played massive roles in multiple games. We had a lot of cheap interaction. Alist Burst, Lightning, and Unholy Heat for 1 mana removal. Also Lightning Helix. Good card draw between Expressive Iteration, Inspired Idea, Brainstorm, Preordain, Dig Through Time, and then a suite of Planeswalkers for win conditions. I was a little bit worried that we would be too light on win conditions, but the Manlands really pulled their weight there. I think without the Manlands, this deck would struggle a lot. You know, someone thought seizes your Gideon Jura, counters your Teferi, and then like Heroes Downfalls your Elspeth, and then all of a sudden you just can't win. But with 3 Manlands, we were still able to fight through that. So that was pretty sweet. Just a great deck and a lot of fun all around. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.